Here we go, kicking this thing off. You should probably put your name on your assignments. And we're going to take a look at A first. So if we look at A on the top view, I'm labeling it in the side view. That's the right side. And if I look at it, I got 1, 2 of those, right? So I'm going to put a quantity 2. On the material, we're going to be using 1x6. 1x8 is the other option. We'll talk about later. And then we're looking at how big it is. The length is 5 1/4 out there. We got the height of it is on the front view is 2.5. And then our thickness, if we take a look at that top view, we got a 5/8 right there labeled. So next up, find the size of B, get that on the formative and check your answers, right? I'm just slamming through that. And then we're going to talk about how to do this thing. Trying to look at material use, right? If you need to pause this section to look through what I got going here. But I calculated the side, both sides added up together is 18 inches, right? And so this is why I went with 18 because of material use. So 1x6 is actually 3/4 by 5.5. So 5.5 that way, right? On the width, I drew a board on there. And then if I was going to rip it at 2.5, we can rip again at 2.5, right? So we got 2 rips. We're going to have 2 sticks and a little bit of waste there on top is all. Not too much. So now after we've put the dados in, we would chop this thing and we'd start with the 5/4, it's safer, and then chop the 11 1/4, right? And that way we'd have a bigger board to hold on to. So that's why I went with the 11 1/4. And then not a lot of waste. That's just the stuff out on the end. So that's what we would throw away. Getting over to the planer, we start with 3/4. And on a calculator, 3 divided by 4, 0.75. So I'm going to adjust that planer just below. We can take a little off on that first one. And then I bump it up with a quick tap. We feed it through again. And we're going to get the thickness down a little more. And we're going for 5/8. So I go 5 divided by 8. We got 0.625. And we should be good to go there. And then we ran it through at 0.64, right? Not quite yet. And so I look at it again, and I'm about a 30-second away. And so on this hand wheel, 1 30-second is 1 rotation, but I got to turn it till it engages, and then it will drop in. I'm going to start right there, and I got to go 1 rotation. Now I went up 1 30-second, so that's how much material it'll take off. Run it through, perfect. Bada bang. After that, we're going over to the joiner. We're just going to clean up one edge, right? Good pressure against the fence. Walk along with your board and feed it through that blade, right? Afterwards, I check that I got a good clean cut on it. Now we can, so let's check the plans for our width. We're over at the table saw after that joiner. I was setting my width for 2.5, and I'm going to lock that in. I'm going to get that set. I'm going to check where we're at. We got the hedgehog, put a little pressure on there towards the fence, lock that down, and then I'm going to get my push stick ready to go. So on my left thumb pushing down as I push forward with my right, and then I'm stop and hold right there. The blade's on right now. And then I'm finishing the cut with my push stick all the way through. Push past the blade. Don't reach in. Use your push stick to get that excess material out of the way. I'm going to turn this off and let the blade stop before I get my hedgehog set up for my next rip. So I'm good to go there. Adjust my hedgehog and power up, pushing through, making that rip. Okay, both boards are 2.5 now. After that, we are going to jump over to our table saw with the dado on it. This is a different one. And I turn the power off. We're looking at the blade, we're looking for a 1/4 inch tall, right? And then I can adjust the height if I need. So I loosen that lock and then we'll go up and down, but it was good already. Now the fence should be 3/8 from the edge on this project. So I'm dropping that over. I'm checking my answers here. So it's a 1/4 inch tall blade. That's how tall I am. And then again, my thickness, blade thickness, actually was 2 blades, which is a 1/4 inch. And then my distance from the fence is 3/8, right? So I had to adjust that one because I thought it was 1/4 inch earlier. Now I'm grabbing my hedgehog again, grabbing that. We're gonna get that in position so we can put pressure right in front of the blade. I'm gonna get my push stick. I had to go find it. And then we're going to pull that board out of the way, wait for it to power up cycle, and pressure against the fence, pressure down, hands pushing straight forward, not downwards at all. And then thumb down on the left hand and pushing through. And I'll grab my push stick and finish the cut. As it finishes, I'm going to just slide that past the blade and then around, right? And check my cut. Then we're getting the second one, same thing, right? So got 2 dados. All right, now we're going to cut these things to length, and our first one's 5 1/4. Laying out with my square, getting it square, putting that edge on the far side because that's the side that's going to be against the fence. Chop those both up. They should be the same. Ooh, nice. Then my next ones are going to be 11 1/4. And so we will lay those out. Again, get that square on there and the correct side. Keep that side against the fence. And chop chop. Scraps going in the bin. Not much waste there. It's pretty good project plan. Got all 4 now. Jump over to the table saw again. We're going to get this thing tested. Checking the blade first. So a 1/4 inch tall blade, right? That's how tall the blade is. So we're going to look at that. Throw the blade that up there. And 1/4 inch tall. We're good to go. And then we're going to take a look at the width of the blade, right? So it should be 5/8 so it can match our boards, right? We're going to start there. This is the 5/8 one. I labeled it. I'm on the correct one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blades. So we're good to go. That's 5/8 of an inch. 5 blades, 1/8 per blade. We're good to go. I'm going to put that fence flush with that edge. As we do that, I want to clean up my workspace, and we're going to be testing on a piece of scrap wood. So tossing that through there using my miter gauge. Good cuts. You can see tear out on the end, right? A little off, and I can see it a little better than you can about how far I need to go. I'm going to look at the scale and move it about that far, right? And I've had practice at it, but maybe it'll get better. Now it's a good fit. Once it is, we're going to run those through. If you really cared, you could put a backer board on it to make sure you don't have tear out. This is just my practice one. So now we're all lined up. Things are looking good. Ayo.